Over the last 5 years, we've seen a tremendous increase in activity downtown. And you look back to 2008 when the economy took a downturn, and it was a real challenge for businesses downtown, and there was a lot of concern, would some of these small businesses be able to make it? So I think for those few lean years, 2008 to say 2010, businesses had to look at how they were doing business and perhaps change a little bit. And through that, we've come to this resurgence where we have so much activity downtown. We have a real increase in businesses coming downtown, in particular restaurants. I don't think anyone would deny that downtown Ann Arbor is becoming a dining destination. You'll get folks that will play the negative of that. Certainly we want a balance of retail and restaurants. However, nothing wrong with being a dining destination. And through those restaurants, we have seen a huge increase in the sidewalk activity. So obviously the sidewalk cafes. I can think of probably a dozen offhand new sidewalk cafes that have come to the forefront over the past 5 years. So as far as the sidewalk cafes go, the DDA has had a great impact in the ability for these businesses to come out on the sidewalk. And it's not just the cafes, although we have quite a few sidewalk cafes, but it also allows retailers to put racks of clothing out on the street. Anything that brings activity to the sidewalk makes a huge difference in the sense of place people feel downtown. When you are walking downtown, people want to be surrounded by people, and activity brings people. So things like sidewalk improvements that the DDA has done over the last 5 years have really made an impact on the ability of these businesses to use that sidewalk. It's always things that people don't think about. I think that a lot of the things the DDA does are just expected, and I don't think people really pay that much attention to them until they're gone. If Ann Arbor were not to have a DDA, we would not have a champion for downtown. And I look at downtown as an area that is important to the entire community. It's about your housing values. It's about your quality of life for you and your family, that you have this place to go. I can't emphasize enough, obviously I'm biased, but the importance of a strong, vibrant downtown. And if we didn't have a downtown development authority tending to this downtown, I really fear that the success we have today would quickly go away. And I think, once again, it's one of those things. DDA to me is the unsung hero of downtown, because they take care of all of the things that people don't really want to think about, nor should they. People don't want to think about cracks in the sidewalk. They don't want to think about overgrown trees. People shouldn't have to. But without somebody taking care of it, you would quickly notice the cracks in the sidewalk, the overgrown trees, the dilapidated parking system. All of these things that we take for granted, I think would quickly go away. Going back to sidewalks, I think about the 5th and Division streetscape improvements. That single improvement has really activated an area in downtown that was formerly very quiet. The corner of Division and Liberty, now has a sidewalk cafe. That has activated that area. It has activated that whole corridor. So now you have people on State Street and Main Street who feel more comfortable walking back and forth, neighborhood to neighborhood. So it's that type of improvement that really goes a long way in improving the entire downtown. One striking project that the DDA has undertaken now for a number of years, it's the downtown holiday lights. For my businesses downtown, the fact that our downtown is lit up from approximately November 15th to March 15th is huge. It makes the experience for visitors different than what they're going to get at a mall, at a strip mall, wherever, shopping online. You're not going to get that same experience. And it comes back to these intangible things, this sense of place. What gives us a sense of place? Lights. Lights give us a sense of place, trees, people, plants, sidewalks that are comfortable to walk down. Another project the DDA has undertaken is the wayfinding system, which has really contributed to our visitors being able to find our downtown. You know, we who live in Ann Arbor, and especially those who work in downtown Ann Arbor and are downtown centric, don't think about the fact that if you're coming in from someplace else, you might not be able to find us. So the fact that now on Washtenaw, Main Street, we have signs leading people to downtown. You know, it's those little things that you sort of don't think about, but people need to know how to get here. And there have been people who say, well, people can use their phones, but you know, people are driving, and we want to remind you to come downtown. And you're not going to be reminded when you look at your phone. There's no way you can deny the impact of the underground parking structure. The fact that that bridges the distance between Main Street and State Street, and that allows people to go back and forth in our very walkable downtown, I can't emphasize enough how I think that parking structure has impacted the face of downtown. You know, I look at parking as that's our first connection to our visitor. You know, when people come downtown, the majority of them are parking somewhere. So if you're parking in a parking structure and maybe it's a little bit run down, maybe there's graffiti, maybe the elevator isn't working well, that's your initial connection to downtown Ann Arbor, and that might impact how you feel when you're thinking back about that experience. So the fact that the DDA maintains our parking system and does it so incredibly well is something that impacts every business. I also think it's significant to point out that the parking system has also allowed for other employers to locate downtown. You know, there are employers that want to come downtown, but parking is a big piece of the puzzle as far as making that decision. And the Downtown Development Authority has worked closely with these businesses to make sure that the parking is available for them. And then those employers, you know, of course, in turn, their employees are patronizing our businesses. So it's all a big circle, and we all need to work together on this, and every part is important. I don't know if people realize how the DDA funds a significant portion of the Go Pass, but that is something that our downtown businesses really appreciate. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say most of our businesses do offer the Go Pass to their employees, and it allows them to get to Ann Arbor without taking up a parking space.